Yeah, too big of a head.
You should have worn your other one.
My name's Callum. Nice to meet you all. I'm going to be your tour guide for today. So I just want to work down the caves, ask me questions at any point, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you can't remember my name, I'm really bad with names myself. I'm not going to be offended. Just say, hey you, Mr. Tour Guide, or something like that. I'm easy. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. That's the main thing. Has anybody here been to fantasy caves already today?
No.
A couple people? Yeah, that's fine. So these stairs are a lot more gradual than fantasy caves, so we'll be fine going up and down. Just want to let you guys know that now. And just a couple things before we head down for you guys who haven't been to any caves yet. First one, you can take as many pictures as you want. We're not supposed to take pictures on the steps. You guys are going to take pictures on the steps anyway, you already know that. Just please be stationary when you're taking pictures on the steps. If you're trying to walk down, looking at your screen, that's when problems occur. I want to make sure everyone gets down and up in one piece. That's always the goal. And then for the cave safety, please guys, do not touch the walls, the ceilings, or the cave formations. It's very important. You can't damage them if you touch them. And all the formations, they are protected by law. So you don't want to get stuck with a nice big old fine. Or even better, you guys could actually extend your stay in Bermuda just a little bit. But it's not in the cave quite as nice as the one we're about to enter here, so just be aware of that when we're heading down. And you might have felt some water hit you guys. You feel some water hit you on your head as you go through the caves. You guys might have felt some already. Don't worry about that. We're just trying to fix the kinks in the sewage system that runs right up to the roof. Water. You guys can switch on. Alright, so it is rainwater. That's how the cave forms. Any drops of water hit you guys in your head. We call this here Crystal Caves, cave kisses. And every cave, yeah, kind of nice. Every cave kiss that you worth 1 day of good luck. So 2 days, so on and so forth. So see how many days of good luck you guys can rack those and down. And that's about it. So you guys can follow me right now. And this right here is the only information to give you guys. You guys want to touch one? So this one's already broken off, guys. If you want to touch this one right here. Don't miss the original entrance all the way up here too. Have a little peek up to your left. Yeah, get that on your system.
Touch it. Touch it. He looks funny.
You guys who are at Fantasy Cave, this cave is not as steep as Fantasy Cave. We're actually deeper down inside here. So right here where we are now, like I say, 130 feet. Way up behind this retaining wall, you guys would have seen the original entrance to this cave, all the way up there. So if you guys in the back didn't quite catch it, maybe go back up out to exit the cave. See if you can stand by this stalagmite right here, duck in and look up. You can see some sunlight coming in. And that's where the cave was first discovered from. So this cave was first discovered way back in March 1907 by two little boys. The names were Edgar Hollis and Carl Gibbons. They were 12 and 13 years old at the time. They were playing cricket. Everybody here kind of familiar with the game of cricket, more or less? Yeah, sort of, not really. All right, so similar to baseball, you hit a ball with a bat, and then beyond that, I guess way too complicated and kind of boring for me to try and explain anyway. And the two boys, so they're kind of playing their cricket out by where the parking lot is now. One of them struck their ball way off into the bushes. They ran to go try and find their ball. Instead found that little hole way up there. So instead of being a normal kid, like probably what I would have done, and just going home, calling it a day, no more cricket, come back tomorrow with a different ball, something like that. These kids were a lot braver, or obviously a lot crazier than I would have been. What they did was they ran home, grabbed as much length of rope as they could carry, tied it around a tree, and climbed all 130 feet down to where we are now. Wow. In pitch black. Yeah. Nothing but a little kerosene lantern for light. So, yeah, those kids are pretty nuts in my opinion. But first kids to come down here and explore the crystal caves. What do you guys think the first thing was they did when they got down to this point?
They went in the water.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, pretty much what anyone would do. They went for a little swim. So they're swimming. They were stuck down here for like 3 hours. They were saying, so they're down here for a pretty long time swimming around. They were swimming around, exploring the cave, looking for another way out, of course. But most importantly, they were looking for their shiny red cricket ball, which nobody's actually ever found, even to this day. And it's just over 100 years later. Yeah, so nobody's found it. You can still keep your eyes peeled though. There is this little unofficial rule on tour that they have. And if you manage to find the ball, they say the big prize is you get your entire tour refunded. So for that. Probably be worth a lot more money if you like auction it off or something like that. So you might want to do it that way, but that's up to you. And when they couldn't find their ball, couldn't find another way out, they had to climb all 130 feet up to where they come in from, ran home to tell their parents about what they discovered. My parents would have grounded me for like a million years, but their fathers were actually even crazier than them. So knowing what was down here, they came down that very same rope the next day to go explore the cave for themselves. And what they discovered was this cave extends below their neighbor's house. Neighbors are called the Wilkinson family. So Wilkinsons, they're a very wealthy family in Bermuda. They own this cave, the fantasy cave some of you guys were at, and a lot of the land in the Bailey's Bay, which is where we are now. I think the only piece of land they don't own is the Swizzle Inn, which is owned by the Gosling brothers, but apart from that, it's pretty much them. So they're pretty rich. They decided to open up this cave as a tourist attraction the next year in 1908. And how they did that, they built 165 very steep wooden spiral staircases coming down from that original entrance down to a dock area similar to what we have here. There wasn't a pontoon bridge at the time though. If you guys at the edge of the dock, if you look behind you, can you see the little rowboat in the water? So something similar to that would have been used. You'd actually row yourself all the way to the back of the cave, all the way back to this point, and that will pretty much be a tour. Don't worry about the lights, it's the group at the back. We're gonna check that out in a little bit. So yeah, they used to do boat tours. They stopped doing them in 1912 though, so yeah, you guys just missed the boat tour. Should have come before 1912. When they, in 1912, they're getting so many visitors that the system wasn't feasible anymore. So they took away those steps. You guys remember the tunnel we all walked through? That was blasted out from 1912 to 1914 and built the bridge. So it's pretty much been open for visitors since 1914 onwards. So pretty long time. Another reason why those boat tours were stopped though, if you guys look here towards above the water, a lot of the stalactites we're going to see throughout the cave system, they actually have flat bottoms. And that's not natural. They don't grow like that. That's evidence that people came down here on those boat tours all those years ago, would have broke pieces off with their hands, or in the case of this big guy right here, they would have had to use a saw or something like that. And they'd actually take those pieces home as souvenirs. They didn't know any better. Obviously, you know a lot better than to do that now. All these formations, they take a very long time to grow. All the formations in this cave, they grow at an average rate of about 1 cubic inch per 100 years. So they take their time. So a cubic inch is like ice cubes worth every 100 years. We're not going to see any growth from these guys anytime soon in our lifetime. And so the boat now is only used for maintenance on the pontoon bridge. Don't do boat tours anymore because of that. And real quick, how they do grow. What happens is rainwater, it'll seep down through the limestone that covers Bermuda. It's the rock that Bermuda is made up of. And first forms these little guys up here called soda straws. So everything is very scientifically named in this cave. They're completely hollow and very brittle, hence the name soda straw. And once they get blocked off by deposits, that's how we get stalactites. So there's a start of every stalactite, they'll get filled up on the bottom by deposits. Water runs down the outside, we get stalactites. And then when water drips from the cave ceiling to the cave floor, the calcite will go upwards as the water evaporates. So you get stalagmites like these ones back here. Now with a stalactite and a stalagmite be in the middle, we get this one called a column. So on this column in particular, estimated to have been together for about 18,000 years. So yeah, pretty long time for two things to be together. You see if there's like anybody look, for example, been in the cave, come looking further than this right here. They've been together so long. Whole cave anywhere between 3 to 5 million years old. So it's pretty old. You guys have any questions at all over here?
When did they add electricity into the land?
This electricity, like the new stuff, was from 99 to 2001. Originally, like it's been updated for years and years. When the very first electricity was brought in, I don't know. When they did the boat tours, they were using gas lanterns. They didn't have electricity back then. What do you guys think the water is? You think it's salt or fresh water? Fresh. It's salt water. Yeah. So we're at sea level right here. The system's called the Walsingham Cave system, so it connects right up to the ocean. It is tidal. It's about 3 feet on average. It's kind of low tide right now. So that's why we have the floating bridge. It'll rise and fall with the tide, so we can do tours throughout the day depending on that. Everything in the water looks a lot closer to it than it actually is though. The deepest point we walk over gets down to about 40, 50 feet deep. It doesn't look that deep. A lot of that's the clarity of the water, little bits of the composition. So you guys said fresh water. It was kind of a trick question. You're kind of right as well. There's a little bit of fresh coming in as rainwater that we can't forget about. So what that does is it will sit on top of the salt water. It's a lot less dense. That layer there acts as a lens, and there's a slight magnifying effect going on in the water. It makes everything on the seafloor look a lot closer to us than it actually is. That's why it doesn't look 40, 50 feet deep when we get out there. And at that deep point, we are going to see some stalagmites completely submerged underwater, which is also weird because the rainwater with the calcite can't reach them to build them upwards. So why those are there, before the last ice age, which is about 25,000 years ago, this whole cave would have been completely dry. So that allowed those stalagmites to form up, and the sea levels rose. So they can't get any higher anymore, but that's why they're here to this day. So that's why the one on the left is called the lighthouse, the one on the right is called the castle. See if you see the resemblance. So right here we're like at the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more cave to go. And we know all those depths because scuba divers have been back there to explore. First time they made it all the way out to the ocean from this cave was 2004. You have to have a very specialized cave diving license to do that stuff though. Some of the gaps they swim through get so narrow, they have to take their tanks off their back, pass through gaps and swim out through their tanks. So they're absolutely insane. You would not catch me in there anytime soon. But even though it does connect out the ocean, we're not going to see any fish. All the light in the cave is artificial. No natural light for photosynthesis. Nothing growing in the water for the fish to eat. They're not going to swim all 1.6 miles in here out from the ocean just for no food. You can get some small ones sucked into time to time, but that's very rare. And even if they do make it in here, they're not going to last all that long. So that's why I really want to see fish.
Baby steps? What? Let me make sure this is zipped up. Alright, we're good, we're good. Whoa, oh, he's getting high. Whoa, right there, right there, right there.
Oh my god. It's a lot of swimming. Yeah. It's going, yeah. Did you see one earlier? It was swimming.
No? I
How
thought
you
I saw
missed
a rock.
it?
I
No,
saw a
it
rock.
was swimming.
It was actually a fish?
Yeah.
It's not a rock. Where?
I don't know where it went. I saw it earlier.
Got it?
We'll see in the footage tonight. I definitely saw one. Oh, right there, right there, right there. I think. It's a rock. This way. I swear to God.
Take off the glass. I feel like it's better.
Oh my God, look at It's like a class of fish. Like tiny fishes. Maybe we should take our glasses off. Oh my gosh, there's more! Look, look, look! Hallucinating, dude. Those aren't fish. Look, babe. There are. Look at it. You don't see it?
There are. Go there, go there.
How many? I don't know if I'm hallucinating. No. There's so much right now. Right? They're fishes, right? Oh, they're all around us right now, right?
No, there is definitely fishes. Holy shit.
On my leg.